Hi and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. We've got a very, very special guest with me today, the legendary. That's what I call him, the legendary, because I remember this was a guy that I interviewed, and when we interviewed you, Chris, that time when you came on, that is one of our very first ultra viral videos, right? So the legendary Chris Hudson is in the house, and it's always a pleasure to have you on.
It's a pleasure, Rob. Nice to
It's great to have you here, mate. It's great to have you here. How you been?
Not
This whole time of COVID and stuff like that?
Well, like most people, but I'm just thankful that I haven't caught it. And I've been watching the Arsenal at home like everyone else. I can't bear empty stadiums.
No?
Thank God we can all get back in.
Did you go to the friendly the other day?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
It was nice to be back in the Emirates. Not watching football without fans is nothing, Rob.
Yeah, 100%.
Even if it's 10,000, it's better than zero. But the big question is, what we're going to be looking at.
Well, we'll be discussing some of that today, what we're going to be looking at, you know what I mean? And, there's a lot to talk about, today. Don't forget, if you're out there, get your comments in. If you want to ask Chris some questions, get your comments into Chris. We're hoping to get Kevin Campbell up on here later on as well, live, right? So, ex-Arsenal great Kevin Campbell. But we're here to talk about Arsenal. First of all, Chris, I always know that at this time of year, when it's all the transfer activity going down, that you're all over it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'll see you, you'll be on Twitter, you'll be back and forth. You know what I mean? You send me a couple messages, Robbie, what's going on? You'll be losing it. But how are you feeling about the transfer window so far?
Just a typical Arsenal summer, Rob. You know, we're 2 weeks away from the season, and we're not ready.
You don't think so?
No, we need a backup keeper. Well, do we need a keeper? We need a right back. We need a midfield player, and we certainly need a striker. And
certainly need a striker.
So I'm more worried about that than possibly anything else.
That's surprising because, you know, we've got Aubameyang, we've got Lacazette, we've got Balogun, and we've got Martinelli.
Martinelli's away at the Olympics. You won't see him for a month. Balogun ain't been getting a pre-season chance. I don't know what's going on there. Alba, I think the best thing they could do for Alba is say concentrate on your game and take the captaincy away from him, because I think it might be a bit too much for him. And Lacazette, I don't know, Rob. You know, we don't seem to be offering any threat up front. Obviously, the midfield he's looking at. We need a creator, but we need a right back, and we're 90 minutes away from a goalkeeping crisis. If Leno got hurt Sunday against Tottenham in the Mine Trophy, what are we going to do? It's just ridiculous. Every summer, Rob. It's just not. What I would do for years ago. A pre-season used to be barn it away.
Yeah.
Go to Austria or Germany,
yes.
And all your players that you're going to use for the season will have been bought, so you're ready to go for that kick-off in August. I mean, I think pre-season now is a complete utter waste of time.
Seriously?
Yeah. Why on Sunday when I'm watching the Arsenal against Chelsea? Why am I watching players that you know haven't got a future? Why are they playing?
Well, but you've got to get them fit, though, Chris. They've got to be fit, because how are you going to be able to sell them then?
Yeah, possibly. But I'd rather see someone like a young Aziz come on, or you know what I mean? I'd rather go see more kids playing in these games. But that's me. But we're not ready, Rob, as per normal. And I just know on the 31st of the 8th at 23:59 you'll be outside the Emirates sweating, and we'll be announcing some players.
He knows the drill, man. Listen, we've been doing this for years. Big up to everybody who's sending their comments in. Victor Lang says, Robbie, did you hear that Messi has not renewed his contract? Arsenal should sign him as a free agent. That would get Chris excited, I'll tell you that. Are we ready is what I want. Let's ask people out there if they think we're ready. You spoke about strikers. One of the players that we've been linked to has been Lautaro Martinez of Inter Milan. But this deal, or this possible deal, is really complicated at the moment with the fact that, and I spoke about it this morning on my Transfer Daily, there's this real domino effect going on at the moment with Arsenal. Now, Inter Milan, and I spoke to Fabrizio Romano this morning, I'm over on the Don Robbie channel, he was saying that Inter Milan, if they sell Lukaku, they're not selling Lautaro Martinez. They can't. He said the fans will kill him. The fans are already upset that they're even selling Lukaku. So if Lukaku goes to Chelsea, the Martinez thing would be off. But for you, would that be a good signing, Lautaro Martinez?
It would be, Rob, but being realistic, as you've just pointed out, they're not going to sell both. So I know people are going to go off what I'm going to say now, it's crap, he's not good enough for Arsenal, blah, blah, blah. I really wouldn't mind Tammy Abrams.
Tammy Abrams?
I think he could do as a job, seriously.
So you take Tammy Abrams?
Yeah, but not at 40 million, Rob.
How much would it be?
I think, I was in the real world, he's 30 million. But when you see Danny Ings moving with a year left on his contract for 25, that sort of goes against my argument, doesn't it? But I do like him, but I know he's not everyone's cup of tea. I understand that. But really, there's not. If you can give me another player, another name we could get up front, I'd love to hear it.
So who would go then?
Well, Nketiah.
Lacazette?
Yeah,
Nketiah.
Nketiah would have to go for his own career, because you don't want him. If he doesn't want to sign a contract with the Arsenal, you might as well sell him. And he doesn't need to be sitting in reserves. He needs to get on with his career. And I would let Lacazette go.
Okay.
But then once again, you've got to find a buyer on his wages.
This is the problem that we got with a lot of players. Is the wages that a lot of these players are on. That really makes it really difficult to get rid of some of these players and to sell some of these players.
But that's what Edu's there for, isn't it? I mean, are we asking unrealistic fees for some of these players? I mean, what do Arsenal want for Ainsley Maitland-Niles? What do they want for Nelson and
what do you think Ainsley Maitland-Niles is worth?
Easily 20, 25. And I think really he would be a good signing for someone. He is a good footballer, but unfortunately I get frustrated with him because the right back position at Arsenal is up for grabs. Why does he not knuckle down and play in that position? I just don't understand it.
Okay, well, it's great having Chris on today. I love his opinions. I want to get your opinion on this one. Houssem Aouar, right? Now, he's another player that's been linked with Arsenal this transfer window. We tried to buy him last season and then changed our mind when we were being quoted like £55 million. He's available now for about 25 million. That's less than half. And it was interesting to see the quotes coming from his coach today. His coach, the coach of Lyon, Peter Bosch, was asked about Houssem Aouar and, do you think Lyon will sell him? And his quotes were, Aouar, he can leave. This is modern football. Up until the last moment, he can leave.
Well, Rob.
So, do Arsenal make a move for him?
150 million%. Because Arteta really wanted him last season. So if Arteta wanted him last season, why doesn't he want him? I mean, there's rumours that apparently his agent's a little bit difficult to deal with, but he's a wonderful talent.
Yeah, that's what
but he's a great talent, and also he's not coming in at Maddison's 70 million, is he? And you could buy a Aouar for 25, and you still have money to go and get Abraham. And getting rid of, I don't like this term deadwood because we're talking about football. They're not deadwood. Players that are surplus to requirements, I think that's a better way of putting it. You could go and then buy a right back and a keeper. But you just know what Arsenal are going to do. They're going to try and nick away at Maddison. They do it. I just,
So for you, it's a no-brainer. Go and get a
I've had that. He's
25 million.
He's a talent, Rob. And there is a player there. Let me tell you. He's a good footballer.
Okay. Red White Pappy 93 says, hello Chris, the legend. He says, if we're selling Willock and some other players, we could go for Maddison and Aouar. Also, we need a right back as soon as possible. We were talking about Willock earlier, and you'd like to keep hold of Willock, wouldn't you?
I think you could become this season's Martinez. You know what I mean? I think there's a player there, and a footballer who scores goals from midfield is quite a rare commodity. You know, I hope we're not selling him because we've got to sell him because we're getting 25 million. You should be. That's not where you should be looking at it. Is Joe Willock going to bring anything to Arsenal's first team? And if the answer is yes, then you don't sell him. You get rid of other people out the door first. You know what I mean? I hope they're not selling him for the wrong reason.
Yeah, which is
the money. We need the money.
The money. The other interesting one, talking about that was obviously you've mentioned him a couple of times, and that is James Maddison. And AFC Bell came out with it, a couple of months ago, and he said that Arsenal were interested in him on Twitter, and that's proved right. Now, Brendan Rodgers was asked about James Maddison today, and asked about, is there a possibility that he may be moving to Arsenal? I'm going to give you his quotes as well, right? So Brendan Rodgers says, he was asked if Maddison will be staying at Leicester. These are Brendan Rodgers' quotes. He says, "I believe so. I haven't been told anything to say he wouldn't be. He's happy in training and working very hard. He's just become a father, so he has a responsibility off the pitch. There's gossip and speculation that goes around, especially at this time of year. James is a very important member of our squad and a very talented player. His season was disrupted last year with injury, so hopefully this year he can show that he's the real top player that he is." Does that say to you that Arsenal are wasting their time in trying to get Maddison?
No, that's manager speak for. If you come in with the right bid, we'll let him go.
You reckon
that? Yeah. It's not like what Arteta said the other week about Xhaka. He's 100% staying.
Yeah.
I mean,
I believe so.
Right? Yeah. And you've also got to remember that manager, the Leicester manager, does speak a bit of Blarney, mate.
That's true, and Leicester have in the past as well sold players, haven't they? With the prices right, then Maguire and N'Golo Kante.
I wish Arsenal would run as good as Leicester, Rob. Let me tell you. Look at their transfer dealings. But they're a business like any other football club. If Arsenal come up with the money, I think they. But the thing is, now they're a centre half down. Will Arsenal offer Holding or Chambers? You never know. Yeah,
yes, because of course Wesley Fofana got that horrific. I feel sorry for him, man. Broke his leg.
It's horrible.
Before the start of the season, they're going to need.
I'll tell you one player. I did see a tweet today saying, "Why don't we offer Tierney?" I immediately.
Tierney.
I immediately blocked the person who tweeted that.
Tierney, is he mad? Carl Lewis says with a super chat, he said, "Robbie, we should use the reported 100 million on Martinez and Aouar and buy a right back if we sell players. By the way, love the content, my bro. Thank you very much." The reported 100 million.
Where's that come from, Rob?
I'm about to ask you, the reported 100 million, do you believe there's a reported 100 million?
Not really, no.
Because they're talking, some of these targets. I mean, Maddison, Lautaro Martinez.
Perhaps Alstein's put his hand in his pocket. I don't know, really. Possibly, yeah. Well, the money's got to be coming from somewhere.
But you don't seem convinced.
Well, I'm never convinced of the Cronkies, Rob. I've learned my lesson. But let's hope they are, because then they're showing a bit of ambition. Perhaps they've been pressured.
There's another player that we could have given Leicester, right, or even on a loan, right, and said, listen, to sweeten the deal, right, for Fofana, he's out.
His mate,
William Saliba.
And they would have had that.
Well, of course we can't, because that Marseille.
The mystery of William Saliba, Rob.
Right, I've got some quotes on Saliba as well. He was in a press conference and he was asked, I haven't got the exact quotes here, but he was asked about why has he come to Marseille. And his quotes were that basically is that Arsenal actually wanted him to go on loan to another English club to get experience in the Premier League, but he wanted to go to Marseille. He didn't want to. What do you make of that?
I think the whole thing's strange, Rob. How much did we pay for him?
27 million.
He hasn't kicked a ball in anger since the pre-season friendly at MK Dons. I just think the whole thing stinks. I think I don't think Arsenal rate him. Let's be honest. I don't think they do, and I think they should have just sold him. And if he doesn't want to test himself in the Premier League or even in the Championship, even to toughen himself up a bit, I just sort of wrote him off, mate.
So you think with that you kind of look at the player and say,
I'll begin to doubt.
Are you looking at it and you're sort of saying, it seems to me that he's gone for the comfort thing, right? Let me go back to France.
Back to France.
Last year I was at Nice. Marseille's just round the corner from Nice, by the way.
Marseille, thing is, I suppose Marseille are a top club. Are they in Europe this season?
I'm not even sure, but they do have a vociferous fan base and very demanding fan base.
But say, hypothetically, he could have gone to Leicester if he was still with us, or he could have taken on to Newcastle to learn his trade under Bruce.
Because I think Newcastle were interested in him, weren't they? And you think about it, as I said, it's kind of you look at it's like a comfortable move in a way, because he was at Nice. Nice is just down the road from Marseille, so he was already living in that part of France. And
I just think it's one of these deals that in years to come we'll learn a little bit more on what we know now. Let's put it that way.
You don't think he's going to come back?
No, I'd let him go. Sorry.
You let him go?
Yeah.
Okay, let's find out from you guys if you agree with Chris on that. Amory says RB Salzburg just beat Barcelona in a friendly and they dominated that game. Why isn't Arsenal searching for players from RB Salzburg? Cheap but great players. So let's not... Listen, I've seen Arsenal beat Bayern in friendlies as well. A couple of seasons ago in America. I think, was it America or was we in Singapore? I can't remember. We beat Bayern Munich, we beat PSG.
I think that was in
meant nothing.
America.
RB Salzburg, by the way, they got that Sabitzer.
Great footballer.
Yeah.
There's another one.
No, he's RB Leipzig, sorry. RB Leipzig.
But he's a good player.
Great player. He's available. I think actually he even came out today and said he's has said to him he doesn't want to sign a new deal with him.
Well, we should be all over him. We should be all over him.
Yep. AT Football says Chris is right. Stop short. Each year it's grown harder. We must look ahead. But if we were proactive 3 to 4 years ago, we wouldn't be chasing our tail. You agree with that, Chris?
Yeah, but unfortunately we can't all get in a time machine and go backwards. But the thing is, that is a massive frustration for all Arsenal fans, because it all started Arsene Wenger's last season, that January transfer window, when you had Sanchez, Mkhitaryan, we let Giroud go. I just don't. Nothing's been right, and I think some of our deals since that window. You think we've gone through Gazidis, Mislintat, Rail. It's been such a miss. It's been a pot of mess. And now we're with Edu, and one can only hope and pray that he gets it right.
Okay. Peanut Gunner says, will it get better or worse at Arsenal with KSE? Where is the breaking point for Chris? Similar to the frustration that he showed in his first interview on AFTV. Well, for anybody who ain't seen that interview, let's put the link in the description so people can check that out. It's still, I watched it the other day and it seemed like you were talking about now. And actually, we got beaten by they're always beating us, Villa. Because that was Villa at home, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of the things that you said then ain't been fixed really, have they?
Basically, I mean, we don't want to go over old grand, Rob. But it's my earlier point about pre-seasons, what it used to be like at Arsenal.
Because in that interview you were talking about we're not ready.
We're not ready. And when I think how we used to be run with, I know this is old. We're going over it all again, but you still can't get away from the David Dean years. Deals were done in the summer, June. Barnet, off to Austria, Amsterdam tournament. Season starts, we're ready. It's very rarely that we made a signing like right at the end of I remember Wenger, they used to not bother to go to Arsenal on deadline day. I can think of one or two. I think Viltor will be signed right at the end of the window. I might stand to be corrected, there might be other players, but we always seem to have our business done, Rob.
Yeah.
It's how to run a football club. I mean, pre-seasons now, I hate them. People think I don't really enjoy all this transfer window because it's going to be a mess, and that please God we get a result at Brentford. But can you imagine? Here's a little scenario for you all. We start off badly. The pressure on Arteta will be unbearable. I'll be switching social media off. I will not be going on Twitter. It'll be just unbearable, and then we'll be panicking.
Don't know what if we win.
Oh, well, then everything's the garden's rosy. Then we don't need anyone.
Oh, God. Yeah, there's that as well. We don't need no one. We're all right.
You can't, sorry, but you can't win.
Shreshev says, Aouar was key in beating Juventus and Man City in 2019. What has Maddison really done worth 70 million? I think we should go for Sabitzer, Aouar, muscle and creativity. You like Maddison? Worth 70 million?
He's not worth 70 million, Rob. I'm sorry. He's 50 million. But because the market's gone crazy again, so you got to pay it. But I can't, you know.
If you've got a choice, Odegaard or Maddison?
Odegaard, without that.
Odegaard?
I didn't have to think about it. And I'll tell you why. Because you wouldn't have messing about with integration and he's got to get used to his surroundings, his teammates, blah, blah, blah. Odegaard had hit a grand running because he's already been there. He knows the team. And for £35 million, he's a bargain, I think.
Okay.
But then, does he want a cut? I mean, about his mentality, does he want to stay at Madrid and sit on the bench? Or does he want to get over and play for Arsenal and get his career up and running? You know.
Same Jay says Saliba's been loaned out to boost his value so that we can sell him for more.
Obviously. Same
as Willock, same as our loanies, all for future sales, not lads that we want back. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, well, that's what Chelsea do.
They do it very well.
You may not want to admit this, but they're better run than Arsenal.
No, they are.
You know, you've got to take your Arsenal glasses off.
Although they are looking to buy back Lukaku now for over 100 million.
Yeah,
when they did sell him.
In the foot with that. You've let him go. You've got to spend 110 million on him.
So I don't know. Maybe they.
Yeah,
Could you imagine us lot? Can you imagine us lot if that happened? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Who could I say? We sell Balogun.
Well, we did let Keown go and bought him back for 250,000.
Yeah, well, that's not the same. 250 grand. Rowett says Arsenal have 4 first teamers going away to the African Cup of Nations.
Good point.
Do we have covered for them for the month? Aubameyang, Partey, El Neni and Pepe.
That's a very good point, Rob. But the thing is, that's where there is something Arsenal, it's not all doom and gloom, and that's the youngsters.
Yeah.
Perhaps then Arteta might have a look at your Azizis and your Taylor Harts and people like that, give them a little run.
And of course you've got like Sambi Lokonga who's coming now. Maybe he might be in better shape.
There,
You've got Saka who can cover for Pepe, and Aubameyang. You know what I mean? It's the way he's playing at the moment. We're not even sure if he'll start. I mean, what's your take on Aubameyang? What's gone wrong?
Everyone says, ever since he signed the contract. I don't think it's that. Because Bloke is a very good footballer, but I just think perhaps it's the captaincy, Rob. Perhaps he's, you know what I mean. Perhaps it's taking a little bit of edge off his game. Perhaps it's too much responsibility for him. Perhaps he's not relaxed enough. Perhaps he's worrying about other things than putting the ball in the net. So it's not a punishment to take the captaincy away from him. I say, look, Alba, mate, I love you. We want you to get back to the real Aubameyang. We'll give the captain to Kieran. You can become You can become vice captain. You can keep the vice captain. Just get out there and score 30 goals and save our season.
Might be feeling insulted though.
No, I think he would. I don't know.
Do you think when you see him as a captain that it's almost like a player like I don't need this right now?
Yeah, I think it's weighing on his shoulders, mate. And also, remember, he did have malaria. You know, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what that take. I mean, the last Arsenal
player, they do say it take a lot out.
Colo Torre got malaria. Yeah, and he took a lot out of him.
Yeah.
So you don't know, but I don't like writing the bloke off because you can't knock him.
Yeah, he carried us for a couple of seasons.
He's a quality footballer.
Yeah.
But when I see him miss a chance like he did Sunday, that really worried. I mean, God, I could have put that in.
Yeah. By the way, thank you for all the comments that are coming in. So many comments coming in. So many of you glad to see Chris in the building. We're going to have to get you in there more, Chris, definitely. Tasia says, I'm with Chris on this captaincy thing, right? This guy says, since Troops left for the USA, Aubameyang has lost his form. Bring Troops back. That's the reason why. Adam Walsh says, Chris is speaking only facts. Right? You're Rafa, you're not Rafa, right? There's another bit of news today, and that's been about Kolasinac. Now, yeah, he's still an Arsenal player. You saw him coming in, and he was at the game at the weekend. He played as a centre back in that game. He looked even worse. He was terrible there as well. But the talk is that Arsenal at the moment are willing to pay him off. They're looking to pay off the rest of his contract. So the talk is that they've offered him 2 million and said, we'll just cancel your contract for 2 million. His agent apparently saying, no, we want 3 million and we'll cancel it.
Greed.
Huh?
That's greedy, Rob. If someone's offering you 2 million and you can get on with your career, take it. That's why agents get such a bad reputation, isn't it? That is pure, utter greed. Arsenal saying, here's 2 million instead. Go off and go and play with your mate in Fenerbahce, Ozil. You know what I mean? I hate hearing that, Rob.
But then, you know what? Remember, I spoke to you about this beforehand, right? And I don't think a lot of people have taken this into account. We're talking about a lot of players that took a pay cut for Arsenal during the pandemic.
Great point.
And, players that are being looked to be moved out now, and us as fans are going, yeah, sell him, get rid of him, yeah, move him on, right? Those players are going to look on it and say, well, hold on a minute. I took a pay cut and I don't want to go. Or if I do want to go,
I want paid up.
I want paid up. Well, I want 2 million. I already took a pay cut that's cost me 1 million. Why should I take 2 million?
That's a good point, Rob. You've got me there. In that case, you're not a greedy sod. You're worth 3 million instead and take. No, but for his career, he could take that money and go and get another club, couldn't he? It's like Torreira. I mean, that's one of the big Arsenal mysteries for me.
Now, let me ask you this. Again, we were talking about it today in the studio. Lucas Torreira, I saw a video of him training yesterday. I think he's over in Spain at the moment.
Right, yeah.
A lot of people, by the way, people were saying, why is he in Spain? Why has he not come back? I think that's got a lot to do with the fact that he was over in the Copa America. I think if you're coming back from
South America,
if you come back from Uruguay, that's like you're in you'd have to stay in one of them hotels for a couple of weeks. And I know somebody who came back from Brazil, and they told me it was like staying in prison for 2 weeks. So, but I think that's why he's gone back to Europe, so he can do the 10 days, then come back in too. So he should be rejoining Arsenal. But Lucas Torreira, would you keep him, or is it time? I mean, it's a strange one, isn't it?
I'll tell you what,
especially if Partey's out.
If you'd asked me that question after we beat Spurs a couple of seasons ago, obviously you say yes, because he was wonderful, wasn't he? You never forget that goal when he took his shirt off.
He took his shirt off and ran in front of the North Bank.
And the crowd, the fans loved Torreira.
Yeah.
But then Emery moved him to play like it's a false number 9, if you remember.
Yep.
And basically, he never got over that. I think it ruined him. And that's what I so
could we not bring him back and turn him back into a player?
I think we could, but that's down to Arteta, isn't it? Not you. I mean,
because again, we're not going to get the money back from him, are we, Chris?
No.
Right? He's like what 20-odd million. 27 million we paid for him.
But the thing is,
we get half of that now.
Does he want to come back? I mean, like, because he's had a few obviously personal problems which you can't just write off. He's very homesick. I think he missed his mum died. So we don't know how that's affected him. We just look upon him as a footballer, not as a human being. And I think Arsenal are trying to be fair to get Arsenal. They are trying to help him out. I'd love for him to come back, because what a player he was. But I don't know, Rob. I think the best thing was trying to help him get back home. Okay. Sad, but there you go.
We're going to try and get Kevin Campbell up in a moment, the Arsenal legend. So looking to get him up. Just before I do, trying to pronounce his name, Amanu Panica. He says, Robbie, can you please stop saying Laturo Martinez? It's pronounced Laturo. Cheers to the entire team at AFTV. Thank you very much. I am not Italian. Actually, he's not Italian, he's Argentinian. I will try my best to pronounce it as good as possible. Hansan Khan says, get Aouar and Basuma instead of Maddison.
There's a name, Basuma. I'll tell you, out of all the players we've been connected with, I thought he was outstanding for Brighton last season when I watched him. But apparently Arsenal, are Brighton going to sell another player to us? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, but now that we've kept Xhaka.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, he divides opinion. He's like Marmite. You either love him or hate him.
Where are you with it? You like Marmite?
I do like Marmite, and I'm not like a great Xhaka hater like say 55% of the supporters seems to be. There is a mistake in him, and he has let us down. But I've got to say, who hasn't? And his the great Lee Judges said he's the best of a bad bunch.
Yeah, but is that it though? Is that where we are now? Best of a bad bunch?
Well, I'm in the real world. See, a lot of Arsenal fans at the moment, they got to get through to their heads. The last 2 seasons were 8th. We're not talking about the top 4 Arsenal no more. We're not even talking about Europa League Arsenal no more. We're 8th, Rob. So we're starting from ground zero. So I think we just got to we've got to swallow our pride a little bit and just try and, you know what I mean? I know you don't.
It's hard though, mate. It's hard.
Let me
you know
tell
what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing is, I've lived through Arsenal eras like this before.
Yeah, how long do they last?
They last 4 or 5 years.
Oh, bloody hell.
I'm sorry. Well, they do. It's a bit like life goes in cycles, Rob.
So you think we'll be back?
Of course we will. So we're the Arsenal. There's no doubt about that, but we got to get there, and it's how we're going to get there.
How do we get there then? You tell me. Plot it.
Well, we got to be clever in the market. I think we've got some fantastic youngsters coming through. I think could really help us out. But the thing is, Rob, it's not like years ago when I had a lot of trust in the people that are running the club. You know what I mean? I'm not too sure about the people at Arsenal know what they're doing, and I mean Arteta. You know, I think we've got to give the man a chance, but he's under
Chris,
pressure. I know that.
He's finished 8th 2 seasons in a row.
I understand that, and I know he's under pressure.
I mean, this is it for him, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, it's all right saying getting rid of him.
No, not get rid of him yet, but
let's hypothetically say he has a bad start. And then I want to know everyone's going to got a name, but I look at the football clubs this season who got rid of their managers. They didn't exactly. Tottenham went through 6 managers before they went back to the first one they interviewed. Everton ended up with Rafa. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? How many good managers, coaches are there out
Conte.
there? But I don't think he's not. I can't see him coming to Arsenal.
No,
he wouldn't get the funds.
All right, Mohammed says, Robbie, do you know Arsenal can still be top of the league? Just sort it out alphabetically. He's being really funny there. He's having a laugh. Billy Smith says, Rob, we should offer 65 million and Bellerin and get it sorted. Would make much sense for Arsenal. I think he's talking with the Martinez deal. Are we trying to get Kevin? Have we got Kevin Campbell yet? We got him coming up?
To give us a little sound.
Right. Have we got Kev? All right, we're still waiting to get Kevin Campbell up. We're going to get Kevin Campbell up. Oh, there he is. Let's put our headphones on, Chris, so that we can... Hold on, we'll get a bit more slack here. Can you hear us, Kev?
I can hear you, Robbie. How are you? Hi, Chris. How you doing, guys?
Oh, we're getting a load of echo. I don't know if that's coming out to people. Can everyone hear it clearly? Can you hear it clearly? You can't hear nothing.
I can't hear Kev.
Oh, you can't hear Kev?
All right, hold on.
Let's see if we can try again. Have we got you? Can you hear us, Kev?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear?
No.
Chris can't hear you. I can hear you. Let's just see if we can get Chris's mic start. But in the meantime, when we get, whilst they get, you can hear us, Kev?
Yep.
All right. In the meantime, whilst we get Chris sorted out, we've been talking a lot today about transfers and transfer activity around Arsenal. Of course, we all want to see more, but we've been discussing some of the players that have been linked. Where are you on some of these targets? Maddison.
Yeah, I like Maddison. I think he's a good player. But I think Arsenal don't have the deepest pockets in the world. So I think what Arsenal have to try and do is box clever. Now, Aouar was 50, 55 million last season. He's going for a bargain at 25 million at the moment. He's one of the guys that, was really coveted last season. Let's get him in. 100%. I've been crying out for Yves Bissouma, Robbie. You know that I've been talking about Yves Bissouma until I'm blue in the face.
That's what Chris was saying as well.
I just think we need to be more competitive. We've lost, 3 or 4 midfielders? We need to replenish that position of the team. Xhaka staying, listen, I've got no problem with Xhaka staying, but I still think we need more in that position.
So you get Bissouma as well as Xhaka?
Yep, definitely, I would.
So you're saying Bissouma, Aouar, and what else do you think we need?
Obviously, we need a right back. We need a backup stroke number 2 keeper. I think they're essentials for Arsenal right now. 2 in midfield, 1 attacking, 1 combative, with plenty of energy. Like the Lokonga signing. I like the signings that they've already done, but we're still short. We are really short. And when we play Chelsea and you see Partey go off injured, that's the other thing that we have to contend with is injuries and knocks.
The other thing as well, and Chris was singing his praises, and I'm sure Chris will make an argument. And you, of course, was a great striker for Arsenal. Tammy Abrahams, and I can see a few similarities actually with Tammy Abrahams and Kev as a player. Would you take Tammy Abrahams?
In a heartbeat, Robbie. In a heartbeat, I'd take him.
You're agreeing with everything he said.
No, listen. Here's the one thing I will say. What is our plan B if plan A ain't working up front? There's games where we've put in 30 to 40 odd crosses into the box. We've got nobody in there who's going to head the ball or have a physical presence up there. So I know, look, our fan base, they're against it. Oh, not another Chelsea. But Tammy's young. He's a gooner. He's an Arsenal fan. And you know what? He will get on the end of a lot of those crosses. I'm telling you. He was Chelsea's top scorer last season for a long stretch of the season. And he's hardly ever really given a chance. So I think getting Tammy in could really add to what we can do at the top end of the pitch.
Well said, yeah.
It's like I'm around these wise men, you know what I mean? Chris has just been telling me exactly the same thing. Actually, Chris, talk to Kev there, because you would actually give me the scenario of when in 1991 George Graham decided to go with a very young team. Tell us about that.
Well, at the moment, Kev, this era, this sort of situation we're in at the moment reminds me of Arsenal. Do you remember that 86, 87 when George had Woodcock, Don Howe, and we had people like Woodcock, Nicholas, all those players. Mm-hmm. And we had a load of good youngsters coming through. And I remember he just the game at Grimsby in the Cup, he just threw them all in. And
he flipped the switch.
I think we got some really good. Something else that needs to be done. Arteta's got to be a bit more brave with these kids.
Yeah, do you know, Chris, you make a really good point. But unfortunately, or fortunately for that matter, we're already integrating quite a bit of youth. I mean, Kieran Tierney, we bought him. He's still pretty young. Look at Lokonga he's bought. You know, Tavares he's bought. There's obviously Xhaka, Smith Rowe. There's Martinelli, who is going to be chomping at the bit to get some minutes, isn't he? But with anything, if you remember, Chris, even when the youngsters came in, you still had your experience around them. You still had David O'Leary there. You still had
Steve Williams.
Williams, David O'Leary was there. You know, you had Kenny Sansom there at the time. You know, you in that when we beat Liverpool in the Littlewoods Cup final. You know, you still had that nucleus of experience, and then the next season you could start filtering those guys out. I don't think Arsenal are blessed with a lot of experience at the moment. So, hey, I'm all for giving the youngsters a chance because they bleed Arsenal. But I think getting quality in can only enhance them.
Tammy Abrahams, Rob, and Kevin, would do Arsenal a job. I'll tell you something. There was a ball. I was watching. There was a moment in the game against Chelsea at the weekend when Tavares, he hit that wonderful crossing, and all but missed it. Abrahams would eat up. How many goals would Abraham score on the end of Tierney crosses? Running in.
Chris, you make a great point. And at Arsenal, it seems as though we need to score the perfect goal. No, we don't need to score the perfect goal. If you've got a big target man up there who is athletic, who could get around the defence, we could knock balls up to him if the opposition want to play. You know how they do. They want to sit in there and they want to stifle us. No, we could hit the target man and we could play off him. Not many teams have that as a backup. Arsenal need it.
We used to have it when we had Giroud, didn't it? But we're really lacking that now. That sort of somebody you can, when we want to go with a different style. And of course, when we talk about 91, let's not remember that there was a young striker who came in at that time and came from nowhere, and that was you.
Yeah.
And you did the business.
Yeah, I think if you remember rightly, Paul Merson was playing up front with Alan Smith at the time. And things kind of started going off the boil a little bit. I was chomping. I'd been on loan twice. I was chomping at the bit to get in the starting 11. And what George Graham, I remember it was in training. He said, "Right, Merce, I want you to go on the left, and Kev, you go up front with Alan Smith." And we never looked back for the rest of that season. But you had two physical players up front. I was the one who was hunting all the space in behind mostly. You had Rocky on the right, you had Anders on the right, you had Merce on the left. It was just, it just worked. We were athletic, we were tough, and you had that back five at the back with Dave Seaman and Tony and the boys. So it's all about everything has to connect. And if you cannot hold the ball up front or threaten teams from crosses, we don't. We're just going to be in the same boat as we were last season.
Where's Balogun? Kev, how about Balogun?
I like Balogun. I think he's got really good attributes. But the problem is, Chris, he's never played a Premier League game in his life. So
he can't even play a friendly.
Yeah, it's very difficult to say, listen, do we rate him? Do the club rate him? Yes. We've signed him on. Great that he's signed because we thought he probably could leave. He needs to learn his trade. Now, if you bring a Tammy in, you got Martinelli there who's not even starting. Balogun needs to go and get some. He needs to go on loan for me.
Orient, Kev.
You go on loan.
He needs to go on loan, get some minutes, learn what it's like to be a striker, take the hits, and then when he comes back, he's a better player.
Yeah, 100%.
So, well, you'd agree with that? You'd send Balogun out on loan?
100%. Like, send him a Leighton Orient, Kev.
That's where you were, isn't it?
Yeah. Listen, I'm sure the O's would love Balogun. Jeez, they'd love Balogun there.
Same Jay, by the way, with a super chat. He says, Chris is right. Arsenal will be back. It will take 4 to 5 years, and our youth will lead the charge. We're in an age of social media where everything is instant, so we want immediate results. Let's be patient. Well, hold on. We are being patient. We've been rock bottom now for a few years. You know what I mean? How many more years, man? I want to start seeing this team getting better. I really want to see this team getting better. You know what? On what we were just talking about there, I heard a really funny story, and I don't know if you remember this, Kev, right? But it was in the 91 season, and I think you just won the league at Old Trafford, or you won a game at Old Trafford.
Highbury. We won at Highbury. We beat.
You won at Highbury against Man United. That's right?
Yeah.
And you was getting a picture taken, and you had a hat on. Remember they used to have those hats? It was like a half Arsenal, half Celtic. And you had a hat on your head, right? And I know somebody that came up, right? And they nicked the hat off your head and ran off. Now, I don't know if you can remember back that long, but I actually know the person who did that, right? And I've been telling him, I go,
I want the address. I want the address. I'm coming for my hat.
I'm going to give you the address, and I'm going to make it. It's a guy called Julian. He comes on to AFTV a lot. He confessed to me the other day that he nicked the hat off your head. He actually also, when he said it on the stream, and he was giving us the story, he said, Kev was such a nice guy and that. But when he told me off the stream, he said that you actually turned round, right, when he ran off with the hat and you shouted an obscenity at him.
I was cussing his B's and C's, but you know how it goes, Robbie. I had to stay on the pitch.
Don't worry, I'm going to arrange that you're going to get him to meet him and you'll get that hat back, right? Because
I want the hat
after
back,
all these years, he nicked that hat.
Listen, Robbie, at the time, the Arsenal fans wanted anything they could get their hands on because it was such a great time for the football club. 2 titles in 3 years. So, Julian, I lent you the hat. I want it back.
Now, listen. So just going back onto the transfer link. So you said you take Aouar, Basuma.
Yep.
Who would you have as a back, and who would you have as a goalkeeper?
Look, it's quite interesting, Robbie, when you look at right backs, because there's Max Aarons at Norwich, who is a good young right back playing for the Arsenal. I think he could step up. You know, I really think he could step up. So I'd like to go young, to go with Tierney, to go with Xhaka, to go with Smith Rowe, Martinelli, to build that nucleus of youth. I like the look of Max Aarons, and a goalkeeper. You know, we keep getting linked with some players who I'm not so sure of.
Ramsdale.
I'm not so sure. Yeah, you know, we keep getting linked with players who Ramsdale. He doesn't jump off the page for me. If I'm honest with you, Anana, I think is good, but again, he kind of puts us in a position where if we sign him, he's on a ban. So we still need a second keeper, kind of thing. So, you know, listen, there's a capable goalkeeper at West Bromwich Albion who we probably could go and nick for about 15 million quid, right? Good goalkeeper. He's played in the Premier League. He knows the Premier League. He's had good grounding. He came through ranks. I think it was Manchester United where he came through. Sam Johnston. So
yep.
I think he would be a good goalkeeper. He's been number 1. He knows what it's like, and he's English.
I swear you've spoken to him before this interview, because literally everything he's saying is what you've been saying.
I'm sorry, but he's 100% true.
So Sam Johnson you'd have as well?
Right there, yeah. He's a quality keeper.
And for about 15 million, it'll be a lot cheaper, like you said. I mean, the Ramsdale one has been really strange because they want so much money for him.
Yeah.
You know, £30 million they've been quite. I just don't see a 30 million keeper there.
But the thing is, are we all falling into the trap? You know, like, is he? If we say we bought Johnson, is he coming as number 2, or is he coming as number 1?
Well, what would he be for you?
Well, I think Leno's on borrowed time, Rob.
Oh, what do you think, Kev?
Listen, I've questioned Leno. I think Leno's a good shot stopper, but there's certain things he does that, you know, listen, I'll be honest with you, it makes me uncomfortable at times when the ball's at his feet, sometimes when he's coming for crosses and he gets nowhere near the ball. You know, I worry. I think with a good quality goalkeeper, not even a top class, a good quality goalkeeper, he's supposed to settle the back 4 down. I don't think he does that. So if Sam Johnson came in, I think he would be coming in to start. He'd be coming in to be number 1.
There's an even better one just down the road from West Brom. At Villa.
Hey, let's not start this. Let's not start this, Robbie. Robbie, do you know something? Hey, here's the scoop on Emmy. Emmy was at the club for a long time. I never heard all this hullabaloo about Emmy. Emmy's this, Emmy's that. He got a little window only because of Leno's injury. He took it. He took it with both hands. And don't forget, Arsenal wanted to keep him. he wanted to be the number one, or else he weren't staying because he saw an opportunity to be Argentina number one. So at the end of the day, it was him who said, "I want to go." So you've got to wish him well.
But why didn't we at the time say, right? You know what? At the moment, you are number one. Because he was to me at that moment in time.
No,
well, he was,
he wasn't.
Because
Leno
he should have been.
No, Leno was our number one. No, why?
No, but
why?
No, because he come in and he earned the number one spot.
No,
he come in and he earned the number one spot.
Robbie, he had no pedigree. He had a fantastic spell. But it's just like a number two to Dave Seaman coming in and doing well. Do you reckon Dave Seaman wouldn't expect to be number one and get back in the team because he was injured? So why would Leno expect not to be number one? Leno's number one, and Arsenal done the right thing. The fact of the matter is, Leno started to make some mistakes, which just shone the light on Emmy.
Okay. Jitenda with a super chat says Lacazette and Ketcher will go, I think. Also looks like Balogun will go on loan. If we're not able to get Laturo, we should go for Isaac. I don't think we can get him because he signed a new deal. Similarly, he says there's Danny Olmo, if not Maddison. Also, we should absolutely go for Anana. There's a lot of dreams there in that one, right? And AT Football says my brother played with Abraham for 2 years at Chelsea's academy. Tammy was a goal scorer from Venn. Our fans love pretty signings, but I don't get how we can be opposed to someone who guarantees goals. And then another super chat here from Aditya. He says, let's not forget the Amazon documentary is the big reason the Cronkies are spending. This is a PR stunt that can go amazingly well or horribly wrong, right? But going on the Tammy Abraham's one, it is a bit like he has got, Chris, hasn't he? He's got a good record. When he was on at loan at Villa, when he was on at loan at Swansea, like Kev said earlier, when he was at, when he was playing for Chelsea, in the season when they couldn't sign anyone.
But it gives us something different, Rob. So we can look up, we can hit a ball, he can run the channels, he can hold it up, he's good in the air. I just think we create so many chances for him. He would score goals for Arsenal. I really believe that. And he's not coming in at 70 million. And I tell you what, he'd be proud to wear the shirt and all.
Are we being snobs there?
Yeah, we are.
We're being snobs there, Kev.
Of course, Robbie. It's Arsenal. What do you expect? Arsenal fans want. Listen, I was on a hybrid squad and we mentioned about who do we need. I said a striker like Lukaku, a big striker. People were going up in arms. Lukaku ain't good enough. Chelsea are going to buy him back for 100 million. That's what I made. Our fan base needs to get real. Tammy Abraham will do a fantastic job for Arsenal. We need practical players who will fight. Because we've had all the pretty players, and look where it's got us. We need practical guys now.
All right, Abol says he's telling me Laturo Martinez, not Laturo Martinez, right? But what about him? Would you take him? He says much love from Nigeria. Would you take Martinez from Inter?
Without a shadow of a doubt. But again, like I said when I first came on, Robbie, we don't have the deepest pockets. So what we got to do is we got to spread the money. If we got somebody like Martinez in, then you're talking about now we've got help for Aubameyang. All the pressure isn't on Aubameyang because you see, if Aubameyang doesn't score 20-odd goals a season, we struggle. We really struggle. So the more goals we have in our team, the better. If we could bring them both in, get Tammy and him, let's rotate our strikers.
Okay. Shref says, and a lot of people have been putting this in the comment section, and I was just trying to check if that's actual fact, that Barcelona have tweeted that Messi's not going to continue at Barcelona. He says, let's get him as our new number 10 and let's make a bid for him. Listen, that's highly unlikely, but, I know that's sort of separate to Arsenal news, but that's huge, isn't it? I wonder where he's going then, if he's leaving Barcelona.
I'm not so sure he's leaving Barcelona,
Nah.
Robbie. I'm telling you. That he's down. I just can't see it, Robbie. I just can't see it.
Going back to the Tammy Abraham argument, who are Arsenal competing against this season? We're not, forget the top 4. So we're up against Tottenham, West Ham, Villa, possibly Everton. Now 3 out of those 4 clubs all wanted Tammy Abraham.
Yeah, but is that what we're looking at? What are you saying? We're competing for top 6?
At the moment, that's where we are, Rob.
No,
I'm in the real world.
I don't know if we should be looking on it like that, Chris.
Sorry, but I am.
Chris, Robbie, hold on a minute.
No, I don't like looking at things like that.
No, hold on a minute here. So if you shut your eyes and you say, right, we're gonna sign a Chelsea striker who's been top scorer at the club before, his age is 23 years old, 24 years old, and we're gonna turn our nose up, and he's English, we're gonna turn our nose up at that.
No, I'm not. I'm not turning.
Crazy.
Listen, I'm not turning my
No,
nose
I'm
up.
saying some people are turning their nose up at Tammy.
That is true. You know what I think it is? It's like what you said earlier, Kev, right? Is that we've had so many Chelsea rejects. I think if maybe Tammy Abrahams was playing for another club, it might be more acceptable. We've had so many rejects from Chelsea, right? And we had one last year in Willian. The fans are just looking at it and saying, nah, not again, man.
Yeah, he's young, Rob.
Here we go again.
No, he's 23, 24 years old.
Yeah.
So how can he be a reject?
Surplus to requirements,
24.
though. You know what I mean? This guy here, Travis, says Tammy Welbeck. He says that's what he's reminding him of.
Yeah, but look, but again, people can make comments and opinions, and if it's fair, everybody could make their own opinion. No problem. But one thing I do know, Robbie, is what you do on a football pitch. And Tammy Abraham will score goals for Arsenal if we give him the right service by putting crosses in them. We got a fullback there in Kieran Tierney, who whips great balls in for a striker. We just haven't got the striker.
Brilliant. Meet my man, I'm telling you.
So Tammy Abrahams, Houssem Aouar, Max Aarons, and Basuma.
And the goalkeeper, Johnson. Sam Johnson. Yeah. 5 players, get them in.
Brilliant.
That's a lot of money, Kev.
Well, I tell you what, it'd be a hell of a lot more money if we get Maddison, because you can get Basuma and Aouar for the price you're going to pay for Maddison.
So you'd rather them instead of a Maddison?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'd rather Arsenal utilise the money to get the players in that we really need.
All right. Well, listen, look at him, he's agreeing with everything because he's actually, a lot of what you said is what Chris has been saying as well. And that's why I like getting these wise heads on the show, you know what I mean? Because you guys are wise with what you're saying. Steve Lucas says, won't bringing in Abraham be a smack in the face to Martinelli, who's been training for us to be a striker?
Totally different sort of players, Rob. Martinelli is a different sort of forward to Abrahams. So Martinelli is a sort of...
Balogun then?
Well, he has to go out and loan to learn his trade. Seriously.
I mean, you're setting back Balogun, aren't you?
No, you're not setting him back. He's got to learn his trade, Robbie. The key to it is, how are we going to be put... It's like putting your faith in somebody who's never done a job. You can't do that. And we're talking about the Arsenal, because let's have it right. If things went bad, it could break Balogun. It could break him. He needs to learn his trade, go on loan, learn your trade. And don't forget, Robbie, in a year or two, the Lacazette and Aubameyang, really, their careers at Arsenal, they won't be at Arsenal. So it's right for the Baloguns, Martinellis of this world to then be in the first team.
There's been lots of comments coming in. Kervin says Tammy Abraham is not good on headers. Andy Arsenal says, does Tammy Abraham have a high ceiling? He doesn't, so we shouldn't be going in for him. He won't be world class. Chelsea fans don't mind him leaving. Yeah,
they might not mind him leaving, Robbie. But do you know what, Robbie? Here's the thing. When Leicester won the league, for instance, who was world class?
True.
Who? They were a practical team who knew what they were good at, who stuck to the game plan. We've had all the fancy football you could do. We haven't won the league in 17 years. And what we need is stability. And you know what? I know you stick Tierney, put some of them crosses in, Tammy Abraham will finish them off. That's without a shadow of a doubt.
And going back to the Chelsea fan who says, they don't mind. I'll tell you who I'd rather have, and it ain't Werner.
Okay. Jorge says, of the amount of players in the club, doubt they will make more moves for the midfield. Hope right back gets addressed before striker. And same says, if we had Tammy Abraham, I keep saying, 23-year-old top scorer from, he's saying Tamaro Abrama, 23-year-old scorer from Sporting Lisbon. We should get him. We need to know we're 8th.
Well, we was in for him.
Sorry?
We was in for him,
yeah.
weren't we?
And one more here. It says, Shref says, Kevin is right. Let's get Tammy. Seems like you're persuading people now, Kev, right? He says we have Tierney making crosses from the left, and from the right, we have the fashionista Bellerin doing foul throws and ramp walks. So he's not convinced. But and FT Music TV says Tammy is a no-brainer. So
Robbie, here's what I will say. I don't think Callum Chambers is the answer. But one thing I will say, when he came in at the back end of last season, he done all right in that right back spot. Pepe started to step up. He played all right. He was putting in fantastic crosses. Our problem is we don't have height in the middle. Because you know what that does? What that does to a defence when you've got somebody in the middle who can head it? That collapses the defence because they have to mark him. So that leaves other people free. But for instance, when we played Aston Villa away, I remember that particularly. When you got nobody in the box, the Conser and these guys, they could just be in space and head the ball out. It's embarrassing. We need somebody in the middle who's got a presence there.
Well, listen, Kev, I've loved the conversation. Next time you're down in London, man, we've got to get you in the studio. We've got to get you in the studio on this programme because, as usual, you talk so much sense. But, Kev, thanks very much for coming on. How's your son getting on, by the way? I know he had that really bad injury last season, but is he back with Stoke now?
Yeah, he's back. He's back and he's training, which is good. He just needs to get training now because he's missed quite a bit of ball work and stuff like that. But he's chomping at the bit, Robbie. I love it. He's chomping at the bit. He's ready. He's going to be ready.
It must be really tough for him. He's been out literally a whole season and he was doing so well, weren't he? He was banging in the goals.
Yeah, I mean, it was, 6 months that he was out. And, he found it really tough to start with. But this is where the test comes. This is where your mental fortitude, you've got to have the right attitude to come back and be stronger. And I'll tell you what, Robbie, it's definitely helped him. So fingers crossed he gets back in. There's no more problems, and he could get some more game time now.
Yeah, maybe we can send the scouts to have a look at him. Him instead of Tammy.
Well, not at the moment. Listen, I think we need Tammy right now because the season's starting next Friday. So.
Does Kev know his agent? It's Tammy Abraham's agent.
Chris is asking if he knows it.
Chris, Tammy's a gooner, so he wants to come to Arsenal.
It's true.
So don't even worry about who his agent is. He wants to come to Arsenal, which, being a gooner, it will tick a massive box if he comes to Arsenal.
Okay, well, listen, Kev, once again, thank you very much for coming on. And as I said, next time you're down, let's get you in the studio. It's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Robbie. Thanks, Chris. The proper OG. Cheers. The OG of Arsenal. Love it. Cheers, guys.
Brilliant. Thank you. Brilliant conversation there with the legendary Kevin Campbell. And he's making it quite clear there that he'd be very happy, just like what you said, to bring in Tammy Abraham at Arsenal.
Unfortunately, it's not down to us, Rob. So this pray to God that Arsenal get it done.
All right, but by the way, don't forget to check out the Don Robbie transfer show. It's out right now. I had a great conversation, and we were talking about Tammy Abraham with Fabrizio Romano. He's actually saying that Atalanta over there in Italy, very, very interested in Tammy Abraham, and he could end up going there.
That would make me very, very unhappy.
And I don't like you unhappy. Josh Sashar saying, check the Barca Twitter. This is big news. If it's true that Barcelona are letting, well, not that they're letting go, that Messi's saying that he's leaving Barcelona. He's got to be PSG's guy, isn't it?
Well, I suppose he will go. He's out of our, unless he wants to take a 60% pay cut. At
90% pay cut.
I love it. It would be fantastic.
Imagine if he turned up at Arsenal. What would that?
Wouldn't it? The people would still be moaning, he ain't good enough. Oh, who's this Lionel geezer?
Oh my God. Shref says Aubameyang is tall, Martinelli is tall. We can't buy a lamppost, Tammy, just because he has heels. He ain't a natural finisher. Werner starts ahead of him. Let's end this. So he ain't having it.
Maybe it's all about opinions, Rob.
Yep.
And I've just listened to a seasoned professional footballer back me up. That does me.
You feel sweet, Dad, don't you?
I feel like I've got a cat's got the cream, mate.
Well, listen, we've come to the end of the show today. So it's been a bit longer than normal, but we had the legendary Kevin Campbell on and the legendary Chris Hudson on. There's been some great comments coming in for you all show, Chris, man. They've loved you. We've got to have you back on, man. We want to get you on a regular.
All right, I'll do
right? So it's been amazing having you on. It's been great to see you.
Cheers.
And see you looking so well as well.
Thanks.
We've all been going through this whole pandemic and we ain't been at games for such a long time. So it's just great to see you in such good shape and just feeling good about everything. And let's hope that we can get a couple of signings in before the season starts, which of course is next week. Can you believe that? Next week, Friday.
Yeah, Friday at Brentford, and we got to be on our game, mate.
Brentford, Chelsea, Man City, first 3 games.
I'll bite your hand off for 4 points now. If you gave me 4 points.
Is that all?
That's all. Yeah. I'm sorry. I am realistic. Yeah.
So what then? What do you think the 4?
Brentford, obviously.
Yeah.
We might draw with Chelsea.
Got a great record against Chelsea.
And we likely lose to Man City. But then that could all change if we kick off against Chelsea, say, and I'm looking at Aouar, Tammy Abrahams, and another right back and a good goalkeeper sitting on the bench. It'll all change. All
right. I'll take 7 points. Beat Brentford, beat Chelsea, draw at City. Was it that bad?
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Oh, and then Messi turns up on the last day, on the 31st of August. Messi gets announced. The Cronkies are there, stood with Messi. Imagine that. Right, listen, thank you very much for watching the show today. Don't forget, Don Robbie channel right now. You can check out my interview with Fabrizio Romano, talking all about a lot of Arsenal transfers, actually. The Martinez one, is there any chance of that, etc. So make sure you check that out. I'll be back in the morning with Transfer Daily as well. And the guys will be back tomorrow. We'll have another News Daily, talking about all the news of the day. Chris, once again, thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you very much to the production team. Thank you very much to the legendary Kevin Campbell. And we will be back tomorrow. Make sure you check it out and subscribe here to AFTV.